All right, let's get going with a little live coding today for our Fuse update for May 9th. So I've just been kind of piddling around. Let me see, should I move this a little bit? I'm gonna move this just to make it a little bigger. And yeah, how about there? Okay, yeah, we don't need the picture, do we? No. All right, just been piddling around basically, slow coding, or slow Apex, I guess is what I call it. So we're working on a little interface for Fuse so that I can start working out some ideas. And I'm really trying to go with something like not, I tried to do the Chat GPT just a little to play around with. So we went with, let's see, we did, we'll run that. So we had this little interface, just started stubbing this out. And this button doesn't do anything. And we could say at Harvard, and you'll see it actually does work. And it's a surprisingly little code is required to do this. And then what I've discovered that I need to do is add things like session ID and username and stuff like that to create session, and we've added a request session now so that you can request a session, and if it does exist, you get your same session back. If not, you create session. So we're kind of figuring out how this would work with an application without destroying the kind of the base model that it doesn't need to work with an application. It should be able to work as a kind of a scripting tool. So this is just really allowing me to think things through. So I started down this road, and I'm like, this is going to get hard as I want to use a button over here, and then I want chats to appear. And I said, let's just go with something right out of the can using a wizard. So that's what we did. And now we're just kind of tinkering with it as I'm thinking about how is this going to work. So we're going to click create. The session name is going to be randomized, so you're not going to see that. So we're going to hide that, but we're putting a default in for that. The username right now is Fuse because that's what the public user is, and this is not password. This is all not password protected, which I'll have to do probably after releasing this video. And then we have a session title, which is what's going to appear over here. And it'll just default to new session. So once you create one of these, you can create the title, and if not, you get new session. So next is the model ID. The cool thing about using tools out of the box is, stuff just works. So these are all the models you can pick from. Not all of these are chat models, so I guess we'd have to do something there, but I'm not really going to worry about that. Let's just work on this. So I like the quick edit. We'll just come in here, quick edit on our model ID, and select list. It's been a while since I've done Apex, so I don't remember. There's so many options. I don't remember where everything is. But what I do want to say that a model is required, and I know the default model is going to be, let's do this. Where's the default? We don't want to display extra values. We don't want to display null value. Default is going to be a select query. Let's go ahead and open this and see if we can write this. It's going to be select. This is where I would like AI knowing my model, because this in Sublime Text, this would be would all prompt this. So select model ID from what is it? Provider model, where model name equals fuse config dot default. Is it default chat model name? I think that's it. Fuse, is it fuse config? Yeah, fuse config. It's not default chat model name. Let's try to look at this without actually looking at the wrong file. We do not want to look at our secret file. default model name. Okay, yeah, it's just default model name. Let's check that. Fuse config default model name. Let me turn this off for a second and look and see if I've changed it, if I got that renamed. I think I got the name wrong there. So we're going to come over. How do I do this? Not coding. I'm going to hide that. Be right back. And we're going to look. Yeah. Default fuse config default model name. That's right. Okay, let's try this. I got everything hidden that I want. Yeah, we'll come back. Come back to here. Oh, that's not what we want. Fuse is equal to, model name is equal to fuse default model. That should work. What am I doing wrong? Maybe we can't do it that way. Let's, probably can't use this in a SQL. Okay, use config. So let's cancel this. Let's try function body would work. Expression works. Just has to return a varchar, so it's going to be, let's do, we'll get this. Let's try function body. And it evaluates, how do they do, I would like to see an example of this. There it is. Okay, so we're just going to return. It's weird because you don't have to say what it's returning, so it's always a little weird, but so we're just going to do a function body here. So begin, end, we don't need that, and we're going to need, yeah, we're going to need a declare the model name. We're just going to do varchar 2 512. I'm going to say select model name from provider model. Oh, this work? This gotta work. Pretty sure this. Yeah. Provider model. Maybe I don't have. I have to have that installed. Provider model. I'm doing the same thing, but maybe it'll work here. Provider model where model ID equals fuse config default model name, and it's going to be into. Oh, and we actually want model ID. And then we're going to return. Now, if this doesn't work, I'm probably going to delete this video. Oh, yeah, see, it works. Doesn't work the other way, but nothing, that was okay. So we're going to do that. Click save. Okay, so we're defaulting, we require that. So let's go ahead and test it out. I think we just go over here and close this and then do create. And it doesn't like that. Doesn't like convert string to I to number. We got a bug. Let's look at this again. There's a number. Oh, yeah, duh. Didn't get that changed. All right. It's going to work this time. Try it again. Did we not? Come on. Model ID. End of view model ID. Return model ID. Okay. Save. Make sure we're saved. Let's go ahead and reopen from here. Oh, we can't open this. Let's just do a reload. Make sure everything is getting done. Create. Oh boy, we're gonna go to the debugs. Am I doing that right? Return vModel ID. Unable to convert string value containing. It's still returning model name. I know there's an obvious bug and I'm just not, yeah, that would be it. We got everything backwards basically. All right, this time it will work. Okay, so there our model is llama, and we want to change the name of that. Let's change the name to just model name. And where is that? We'll just go with model name, and we'll do lowercase second word. Even though I know that works, right? I like to test it and do it again. So there we go. So this is going to create a session. This name up here needs a change, right? So we'll go back. And that is going to be right there. So the title is going to be, we're just going to call it chat session. I don't know, chat session. That's what we'll do for now. Uh-oh, didn't change. Maybe that's not what we changed. We're changing the title of content body. I think we need to change, the name does not need to change, but the title needs to change. And actually we'll probably change, once I figure out how to do this, I'll actually go through and build it again some point in the future. Why is that not changing? Test session. Okay, let's try chat session there. I don't like this. Is that not the right, it's gotta be it, right? Or chat session here, chat session, chat. And or chat session. And you know, that's one of those other pages. Maybe I'm not. Yeah, this is the right page. Alias. I know it's not using the alias. Well, that's one of those ones we'll come back to. Sometimes I'll have to figure out where we change that. Sometimes we could use some dynamic actions to do stuff like that if we have to. Okay, pause. So this is the pause interval. This really needs a default. Default to 0. In fact, that's something, you know, we think about, like, why is it null? It's because in the table it's null. So this is where we go to our schema and we go ahead and say pause should be default 0. And let's just go in our code and let's just search for pause and make sure we're not checking for null anywhere. So if it's greater than 0, yeah, lock. Create session. So we need to change those there. Default 0. And so doing it here means we won't have to do it in the form. So let's go to the header and do the same thing. Go through and change those to 0. And actually, you know, request session, as I'm sitting here, request session assumes you've already created this session. No, I might want to use a pause. Title would not be there. Request session right now is something that's only being used from the UI, really. But that doesn't mean it has to. It could be a scheduled job and it wants to request an existing session. Would you use pause? Yes, you would use pause. So you wouldn't use title. Title's kind of a UI only thing. We can use it, but we would use that with create session. You can always you'll be able to set the title. So we're not gonna worry about that. So yeah, the steps, that's for image creation. Steps for, and P images. I forgot what P images is for. Okay, we'll leave that alone. I'm not gonna update. Yeah, I'm gonna update that now. Let's go ahead and update it. I wasn't gonna do it because I've got people watching, and but no, we're gonna run it. So all we're gonna do is run schema and compile that code. And we're using Oracle 23 AI, brand new free database on the always free tier of Oracle Cloud. Looks like everything worked there. We need to generate some data. Do we need to generate data? I don't think we have to generate data. Let's try refresh. Everything goes away because there's no data. We go to create, and pause should be 0. Why is it not 0? Does it not take the default? Yeah, it doesn't take the default. That's right. Because the record doesn't exist. And when it created this, it's not recreating this on the table. So I guess we're going to have to go into and say default 0. I'm going to start doing this though. Default is going to be static 0, and then, you know, minimum value is going to be 0. What is maximum value? Let's just put something. So this is something like, how long would we want to pause between calls? Reasonably, it's only like a second. So, but if somebody fat figured something, put in something stupid, let's just do 128. 128 seconds. That's the max. Oh, let's do minutes. Come on, we'll do 120, which is 2 minutes. Okay. Decimal. This is numeric. Virtual keyboard. I don't know what virtual keyboard is, but yeah, numeric. Not gonna play around too much. If I start playing around with stuff too much, then I never stop. Where's our required? Yeah, we're gonna require that. All right. You can see how this goes. I mean, there's people probably can do this all in one thing, but I want to change this. User, we gotta fix the case stuff on this. Username's not going to be shown. Session name's not going to be shown. Those are going to be hidden. The title is. So let's edit that. Oh, quick edit. Sorry. Yeah, this is going to be. So this is where we get a little confusing. We're going to call this session name. We're hiding this from the user. Session name is actually this. That's not actually, that's kind of a session ID, but it's not really session ID because there's a numeric session ID. So we're going to call that session name. And we're just going to live, that's what makes sense to the users. We're going to live a little dangerously there. Pause. Probably should put something about this number of seconds. So I know I can just go back and flip, but this is pretty fast. So we're going to pause seconds. And I should probably add help. This is the kind of thing you could just do ghost stuff all day. But since I'm going to be recreating a lot of this most likely, I'm doing it again from scratch. So what I'll do is I'll use this as my model. I'll take a bunch of screenshots and then I'll be able to go through and kind of do exactly what I want once I've figured it out and get rid of some of the junk that I've added and things like that. Okay, total tokens, that's pretty cool. We want to show that, but that's going to be read only. And that should default to 0 also. So let's go back to our schema and total tokens. Yeah, it does default to 0. So let's go back and we're going to say default. And that's going to be 0. I'm just going to go numeric. I should probably see what virtual keyboard is. Select which virtual keyboard to display when using the number field on a touchscreen. Numeric only. Numeric only option is used for monetary values, pin, zip, zip. Yeah, we want to use numeric. Yeah. Decimal, we don't need to add a decimal. Okay. And minimum value, what do we, minimum value is 0, maximum value. So this is not anything you're controlling. This is how many tokens this session has actually used, which is related to how much money you've spent. That's another thing I'm going to put in here. It's going to give you some idea maybe of how much money you've spent. So max value, no max value. What else? I want total. I want this read only. Read only. Always. Okay. Let's go back. And I'm going to call this token count. Go back. Pause seconds, model name, session name, username is going to, even though that is going to be hidden, it bothers me. We're going to say token count. Come on, I guess I'll just fix these right now. So even though this is going to be hidden, yes, that bothers me. And so does this. Okay, lapse seconds. Just in keeping on, we're going to call this total seconds, and we may end up going back and renaming some columns based on what I'm learning here and what I'm liking and not liking. But I don't want the program to be only for the UI, so we may not do that. We're going to use Fuse API, but not going to necessarily be 100% dependent on it. Total token 0. Default value, and default value is static is 0, and then read only always. Let's see, our call count, that is the number of calls that have been made in the total. Let's just go with total calls. I'm not sure that I'm going to display this one, but we're going to say min val 0, default value 0, read only, always, save. And status, yeah, you cannot do anything about that. And I think that already has a default because it has a, yeah, so, no. Look and see what we have here. The status is actually going to be, status is going to default to active. And created is going to, see these have defaults. We don't really need to show these. Inactive sessions are going to be archived, considered archived, so they won't show up here at all. I'll have to go to some kind of, and one thing I want to do is not have like unlimited sessions. I want, and I'm going to have to end this because I got to grab my kids. But I don't want unlimited sessions. I kind of want to like have constraints. Like you can have like 10 name sessions for different topics that you want to work on. And then the other ones are kind of like sessions that don't persist or something. I'm not sure about this. But I don't like the way ChatGPT stores all these sessions and then I have to archive them to get rid of them. I want to be able to lock or pin sessions. I think is maybe more what I'm talking about. So I'll have to think about status as active or inactive. If I want to display that, because an inactive session would kind of be an archive session that you could maybe activate and continue. The only really thing is you can't have two sessions by the same name here that are active. So I don't know if this matters. Anyway, okay, so that's enough playing around with Apex here. And so that's what I do. I kind of work through until I get something, and I just keep paring it down and cleaning it up until we can create sessions, delete sessions, just using this interface. And all this work that I'm going through to do this is really more thinking, because I know I'm going to come back and I'm going to, when I create an interface in the future, I'm just going to screenshot this stuff and I can just, well, this will be no problem. Plus, a lot of the things in the table will already be taken care of. So, and maybe I won't destroy this. I don't know. Okay, well, that's it. Gotta run. We'll talk to you guys later.